snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys, so I am going to be doing a book review today, and the book that I'm going to be reviewing is Red Rising, which is by Pierce Brown. This book I picked up in my huge unboxing a while back, and I picked it up mainly because someone sent me a message on YouTube and recommended this to me based off of all of the other books that they had seen that I had read and enjoyed. So yeah, this was really interesting to me, and I'd never heard of it, I'd never really seen anyone talk about it. So I was really interested and intrigued about this series, but I knew nothing going into it. I was initially really excited by this book because of how I had come to know about it, but I actually found it really hard to get into this book to begin with. I thought that it was going to be sci-fi-esque, but I didn't know quite how much of its own language style it had kind of adopted. There was a lot of terminology that was made up and that was very hard to grasp at the beginning. There were things like grav boots, slang smarts, hell divers, and so on and so on. And it took me a while to get into knowing what they were and figuring out what they meant, because they weren't always explicitly understandable, and I just didn't know all the time what they actually related to at all. But as soon as I got over that, I actually started to really enjoy this story, and a lot more than I thought I was going to initially, because as I say, I struggled getting into it for the first 100 or so pages. Once I had actually gotten used to the fact that these science-y words were made up and thrown in to the story, I think that they definitely helped my immersion. Once I knew what they meant, once I understood them, I really felt more immersed in their world, because their world is so foreign, it's so different, that these terms, they really help to understand what's going on. So this book is basically the story of a guy called Darrow. Darrow lives on Mars, the planet, and he is a hell diver. A hell diver is basically someone who works in a team of Reds. Reds are the lowest caste of society. And a hell diver goes into the depths of Mars to mine out these gases which are used to terraform the landscape of Mars, in the hopes that one day Mars will be habitable for the whole of the human race. Darrow and all of his friends are Reds, which is the lowest caste of society. They are not treated well, but they are doing a great job. They are the ones who are going to introduce humanity onto Mars, and they have always been drilled into them that this is their purpose, this is why they work so hard every day, day in, day out, to help their children, to get them a better future. There are lots of other colours, such as the Golds are basically the top ranking members of society. They are basically the highest of the high, you cannot get any better than them. And between the Golds all the way down to the Reds, there are all sorts of other colours who represent different things. The Golds are basically the elite class, the Reds are the miners who work hard, they're very much the working class. And then we have sort of purples, who are basically artists, they do all sorts of artistic things. Pinks, who are courtesans. And we have obsidian, who is basically like the guards. There are many other colours besides those as well, but those are just the ones I can remember off the top of my head. Darrow works every day in the mines to ensure that one day it will be habitable on Mars and that his children will be able to have a good future. And he's a very tough character. He knows what he wants and he's very determined. He's very admirable in his strength and the way that he will fight to the end to get what he wants. And he really, really believes in the cause of making Mars habitable for humanity. But one day his resolve is really tested and really pushed to the limit when it turns out that he has been lied to all of his life, and he finds out that actually this society that he has come to love and know, his Red society, has actually been lied to, and there is already life on Mars. There are whole cities and towns and massive structures which are all over the surface of Mars. But because they live underground on Mars, they have never known it, and they don't go up to the surface. They just work day in, day out. And they've been lied to all of their lives, and it's a huge catastrophe. And when he finds this out, obviously he wants to try and fix this. He wants to get revenge for the fact that he's been lied to all of his life. This discovery basically leads Darrow into joining up with a rebel force, and he wants to infiltrate the Golds, and he has to be logical and witty and entertaining and funny, and he has to become a leader, and he has to pass the passage to go on and be a high-ranking member of the Golds and try and infiltrate and sort out the society to be a better place for his future and for the people of his race. So there is so much more that I could say about this book, because after that turning point it really gets interesting, but I don't want to spoil any of it, because I would say that if you can get through the first 100 pages and like definitely persevere, because it does take a little while, then it really gets interesting and things take off and things start to become so much more exciting and energetic and things just get much more exhilarating. I don't know whether I would rank this as a YA or an adult book, because it's kind of an in-between book. There is rude language, there are a lot of awful or violent scenes, very, very tragic violent scenes which are included. I wouldn't class it as a fully fledged adult novel because it is revolving around teenagers and it is revolving around a young society. I would definitely recommend this for people who are kind of my age, which is around 20. Older teenagers, definitely not a younger teenager, or any adults who want to pick this up and have a lighter read, even though it is a bit gruesome and a bit dark. I actually ended up giving it a 4-star rating and I really enjoyed it in the end. I would definitely recommend it for anyone who loves space or space enthusiasts, and anyone who loves sci-fi, because it definitely combines the two elements of space and sci-fi and machinery and all of that cool stuff into one book. And it's also very similar to The Hunger Games in a way, which is cool. There is a dystopian element to it and it's just really, really interesting. It's a very good combination of all sorts of different things. So I definitely enjoyed it and I would love to know what you guys thought of it if you have read this, because I have not heard very much about it. So please do let me know your thoughts on this, and yeah, I will definitely be continuing on with this series as soon as I get the next book. So looking forward to that. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all very soon in my next video. Bye! Me and you gonna have a little chat about the